Next week on Can You Relate with Kathy Dawson, who's the boss in your home? Our Relationship Roundup has something to say about who should have the final say. Then, you and your mate go round and round, and you do it around your children. Kathy offers advice on how to argue without an audience. Next week on Can You Relate with Kathy Dawson.
Whenever there's a big change in life, whether it's a job loss, maybe a move to a new house, whatever it is, it really affects the family. It affects all of the relationships. Well, another change that occurs is when someone retires. Huge thing that affects all the relationships. We have someone in to talk about this. This is Dick Dawson. You are a career coach who specializes in retirement, and if I might add, my husband. Okay, so welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. What happens when somebody retires? I mean, how does that affect the whole family dynamic?
Well, it's going to affect families in a different way, but picture this, there's 70 million baby boomers coming up, all right? And many of them have families. Yeah, this is going to be a big thing because it's a wave of baby boomers coming up, and they have families, and think of this, people work for like 35, 40 years, and all of a sudden, and they're looking for retirement, all of a sudden they stop. Mm-hmm. And, you know, for a couple of weeks, it's just really nice to do something.
Right.
Do nothing. Just hang out, maybe. But there's this period of time between 2 weeks and maybe 18 months. From the people I've worked with over the years, and it's probably about a couple thousand by now, these folks have this euphoria for a little bit, and then they get bored. How many times can you clean the garage?
Well, right. So what do you recommend for them?
Well, first off, they need to work with their families so that the families understand what they're going through. This time of transition can be very emotional. You know, it's great for a couple of weeks, and then off it goes downhill. Yeah. And some families have expectations about, well, John's retiring, therefore he can babysit for us all the time.
Yeah, right.
And John's got other plans. And also, husbands and wives get into some difficulties too if they haven't talked about it. The whole thing's about planning and discussion.
Right. Well, you know I'm all about that.
Yes, it's important, yes.
Yes. Now, you have this expression, I married you, what is it?
Married you for life, but not for lunch.
In other words, get out of the house, you're driving me nuts. Yeah.
That's about it, yeah. Well, I've seen this with a lot of couples. A gentleman is retiring, and he goes home, and his wife has an entire life all by herself, outside of relationship with him. So they're out there doing their thing, and all of a sudden John is home.
Right.
And he's saying, oh, I had one woman tell me that her husband retired and he's with her. He's like a dog
like
going
a leash
around her.
that's attached.
Like a leash that's attached. And she said, finally, get a hobby.
Right, right.
Know?
So what I'm hearing, the main message I'm taking from this is plan, plan, plan. Be proactive about it. Retirement isn't the same as it used to be. People need to work, but they need to have some other outside activities. So if you're in a situation where you think retirement's down the road, whether you're working part-time, not going to work full-time, whatever you're doing, you might want to give Dick a call because he is the retirement guru. And you can get a hold of him by calling 216-402-3041 or go to your website at retirement-crossroads.com. So what are we having for dinner tonight?
I don't know.
Okay.
Until we go
we'll
out.
be right back with Ask Coach Kathy.
Coming up, if your twosome is starting to get tiresome, Kathy offers help for hope and happiness. And next week, medical news that has hit the headlines. What it means for you next week on Can You Relate with Kathy Dawson.